Died following a brave battle with brain cancer. His death comes a day after his family announced that the 81-year-old war veteran and longtime senator decided to stop his medical treatment. Washington reporter Samantha-Jo joins us now with a look back at his life and career. Samantha-Jo?
Angie, Senator John McCain became a towering figure in American politics and public service over the last 5 decades. His legacy will leave a lasting impression here in Washington and across the country.
John Sidney McCain III was born on the 29th of August, 1936. Following in the footsteps of his father and grandfather, both four-star admirals, McCain graduated from the Naval Academy at Annapolis. He served in combat during the Vietnam War. In October of 1967, McCain's plane was shot down over the North Vietnamese capital of Hanoi. He was captured and tortured for 5.5 years. The North Vietnamese offered to release McCain, but he refused unless every American captured before him was also released. Eventually released in 1973, McCain earned the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Distinguished Flying Cross. The torture he endured left him permanently injured with limited mobility in both arms. Those experiences, he would later say, prepared him for a new phase of his life, politics. Elected to the House of Representatives in 1982, and 4 years later succeeded Barry Goldwater in the U.S. Senate.
We should move forward with his nomination.
Where he served 6 terms representing the state of Arizona.
I think I will fire the staffer that came up with that name.
Known for his unconventional humor and sometimes short-tempered demeanor, McCain was not afraid to question his own party.
We've got to have some bipartisanship.
And even expressed more liberal views. He ran unsuccessfully for president in 2001, but tried again and became the Republican Party's nominee in 2008.
The American people have spoken, and they have spoken clearly.
McCain and his running mate Sarah Palin lost to Democrat Barack Obama as the nation was swept up by the promise of change. In his memoir, he later expressed regret for choosing Palin as his running mate.
Integrity, honor.
Determined not to let his failed presidential runs define his legacy, McCain returned to the Senate.
There is no national security interest more.
Where he served as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Armed Services and fought for immigration reform.
I like people that weren't captured, okay?
In 2015, then candidate Donald Trump belittled McCain's experience as a prisoner of war while out on the campaign trail. The relationship remained rocky. In July of 2017, McCain announced he had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer. Days later, he returned to the Senate floor, casting the decisive vote. Dramatically killing his own party's Obamacare repeal bill in the Senate. McCain spent his final days at his cottage in Sedona, Arizona, making one last moral stand, refusing to support CIA nominee Gina Haspel over the issue of torture. In addition to his 7 children and 5 grandchildren, his wife Cindy survives him. His legacy and imprint on national politics never forgotten.
Now, McCain's funeral is expected to be held at the Washington National Cathedral. He will then be buried at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. Angie?
Now, Samantha-Jo, I understand putting that piece together of his legacy was pretty hard, but I understand that you have had a personal relationship with the senator.
Yeah, Angie, I'm originally from Scottsdale, Arizona. My family is from Arizona as well. They have met the senator several times, including myself. We met with him here when I was child. And, you know, there's something about the senator always, even as a child and an adult here in Washington, when he talks to you, you know, he really made you feel like you were the only person in the room. He took us around the Capitol himself instead of a lot of staffers, which you see a lot of times the staffers taking you around, showing you the Capitol. It was McCain who showed us the Capitol. He treated us like we were the most important people in Washington. And it was something that I really carry with me in my memories of him. And even even later in my time when I returned to Washington as a reporter, you know, I ran into him several times, and when I introduced myself, he said to me, you know, how's the baby? And he was referring to my youngest sister, Jessica, who was a young baby when he had first met her, which is pretty remarkable. He was, you know, 80 years old, and he had remembered exactly who I was, who my family was, and those are just a few memories of Senator John McCain that I'll carry with me for the rest of my days.
And you had the pleasure